Camera battery died the other day, so I didn't get to show you what I did on this, but basically I've ground all the paint off and used some of that de-ruster on it. I still have some places that could use some grinding or filling, and same deal, the guy patched put a plate over the joint, and the bottom down here looks pretty good. I'll do a little grinding on this, flatten it out. Worked on the area a bit more here. This is just places where the body had some rust in it still, and then here I ground all this off good for try to put as little bondo as I can on it. These guys built this body, didn't seem to have a trouble putting 1/2 inch on, but that's not the way I like to do things. Cleaned up all the metal good in here in his brass. This piece is pretty strong. On the other one I welded a piece into it because it was so floppy. This one's been welded pretty good, so I probably won't reinforce this. I might just put bondo on the inside. I'll beat it out. You can see it's got a curve in it right here. I'll try to make it match the other side, and but in the meantime I can just bondo up this section here with a light coat. Try to start getting it smooth and see what happens. Don't mean to make this a how-to lesson on bondo, but you can see I don't have a lot here. I'm just using the lid of the bondo can, and it's pretty cold out here, so I use a little more hardener than I would normally. And you always want to keep your spatulas clean. This one's not that clean, but these are just cheap ones I use for the first coat of bondo, and later on I'll use expensive ones for the final coat. But I'll just mix this up thoroughly, put a thin coat on the body. I don't have a tripod or anything, so I'm just going to set this up here. I don't know how well you can see, but first thing we're going to do is just put a wiper layer on it. I'm getting a lot of streaks in this thing. I can tell it's got dirt in it, but at this point I don't really care, because what I'm trying to do is fill these big holes. What I'm doing is trying to get as even a layer of bondo as I can on it, as thin as possible. Because if you have it sticking up wherever your last bondo is, unless you like to do a lot of sanding, it's going to raise the whole thing right here in this section. I'm taking this bondo down, you can tell there, but there's hardly any on the body. I'm putting it all onto the weld joint. Again, this bondo is pretty dirty, but I'm taking it all off of where I don't need it, maybe where there's a gap. Letting it take the majority of the bondo. Now I got another spreader here. It is clean, and it's quite a bit wider. I'll use this to lay this final coat of bondo on. If you notice, I'm taking it off up here. I'm starting to get all kinds of streaks and stuff in it. Get too much hardener in it. Sticking on it well, so I'm using heavy pressure on it. Sort of dissolve it in paint. Primer is actually sort of a very thin bondo. I pretty much got it done here. We're wiping off any excess bondo I don't need. I'm going to have, at the end of this, you're going to have some bondo left over that's basically all full of dirt and half hard bondo. You can see here I've got just a little bit left on this, and what we're going to use this kind of stuff for is anywhere that we're going to try to fill something that's it's not necessary. Okay, here we got a section here on this, on the back, that is going to have to get ground down, so I'm taking this bad bondo lumpy stuff and I'm just sort of wiping it all in here. This is going to be easy to grind down. All I'm really trying to do is fill a hole and run it in here into the gap between the sheet metal and the bed. And at the same time, I'm trying to clean my little spatula, bondo wiper, and then I clean it up as good as I can, because even on a rough spot you don't want to have big chunks of bondo left over. So that's what you do with your, once you've finished your stuff, that's how you get rid of your bad bondos. Use it in places that are going to be easy to grind. Now on this here, you can see a lot of streaks in this bondo. This is because it was dirt in it. Part of it was already hardening up. I put a little too much hardener. It's not as cold as I thought it was. But basically I've used a very thin layer. If you can see in here, you can still see the grind marks under the bondo. It's very thin. All I'm doing with this is trying to get it basically level, or not level, but a smooth thing, and cover up the weld places. And you see here where the spatula is, I've actually wiped the bondo completely off there, right down to the grind mark. So we're trying to put as thin a coat as we can on. We'll let this dry, we'll rough sand it and put another clean coat of bondo on it, and that'll start fixing it up. While that bondo is drying up, I just hit this top surface here with another coat of primer to get rid of my bare metal grinder marks. I don't know if you can see it in this camera. I'll try to get some light on it, but you can see the grinder tracks in it, because that's where it went down through the metal. So what I'll do is skim this with a very, very light coat of bondo. Bondo really is too thick for this kind of stuff, but I've got some pits in here.